My thoughts are we need to harden the houses out here in the wildland. We need to have a program whereby every one of these landowners can get the benefit of hardening his house. If necessary for him to have, let's say, replace his wood siding with concrete siding, with hardy board or something like that that's non-flammable, he should be able to apply and get a low-cost loan for it, or maybe even a tax benefit, a tax credit like solar credits for hardening the house. As it stands now in the wildland out here, it's very difficult to get insurance. You know, we've lost so many homes all over California. Insurance rates in the high fire severity zones are just out of sight. There's got to be a program implemented where CAL FIRE can inspect those homes, certify them as fire safe, and the insurance company perhaps give them a 5% rebate or a lower rate than a non-compliant home. The CAL FIRE inspection program, as it stands right now, is a numbers game. Just like many things in government, it started out well-intentioned and everything, but now it's who can accumulate the biggest number of inspections, and that's basically all it is. You know, CAL FIRE inspects for vegetation clearance around houses. They want 100 feet of clearance. If your house is not fire safe, it really doesn't make a lot of difference. You can still pass the CAL FIRE inspection. We need to implement programs that are fire-wise and fire-safe. Those are both national programs, whereby the inspection becomes a whole risk inspection. You could have a house like this house over here with 100 feet of clearance, and it would pass the inspection. We had the same problem in the Carr fire. We found that in post-fire analysis, some friends of mine and I went into West Redding, into the high dollar neighborhoods, and looked at the houses that burned. I said, now how can we have lost so many newly constructed high dollar houses? You know, what happened here? And in the post-fire inspection, we found that they had wooden fences that were contiguous into the house. We found that they had bark for decoration, and it was right in and tucked in under the house into the ornamental shrubs and stuff. We found in a lot of cases they had planted ornamentals that were flammable, like redwood trees and juniper bushes and so forth. We found if they had done what we call the home ignition zone, if they had cleared the 5 feet around the house to mineral soil, many of those houses would not have burned. But just through lack of education and through ignorance, that happened. If we have a climate crisis, which we do, if we have a wildfire crisis, which we do, if we have an impending disaster, which we have, we need to make some emergency regulation to lessen some of these rules on an emergency basis. I mean, to me, that's just common sense. You know, there should be no discussion at all about what's going to happen to this nasty mess over here. It should be eradicated. If it was on a private ownership, I could go in and tell a landowner that, hey, you've got a real fire hazard here and I want you to abate that fire hazard. One thing that I advocate is that this stuff be converted into energy, into biogen. You know, we send the crews in here and chip it and haul it down to Wheelabrator or a biogen plant and convert it into electricity. Right now there's 23 biogen plants operating in California. And the ones here in Northern California are all operating at capacity, and their log decks are full. Why can't we take some of the CCI money, the climate initiative money that they're spending on fuel breaks and so forth, and use it to subsidize biomass harvest in and around communities. That to me sounds like a win-win. You know, if you could get an operator to come in here and clean this stuff up and haul it down and make electricity out of it, we would have created jobs in cleaning up the land. We would have we would have gotten the benefit of a cleaned up landscape, and we would have created energy out of it. Now, if we have to build more biogen plants, biomass harvest plants to do that, then so be it. You know, the government should intervene and say this is in the best public interest. We need to get biomass harvest reclassified as a renewable resource.